Hi everybody, US Geoguessr Professor here. I am playing another challenge today, not in Pittsburgh, as this wonderful photograph presents at the beginning of Shmoo Gaming's video, but rather in Utah. So thank you, Shmoo Gaming, for one of your latest challenges. This is halfway through their State of Confusion series, Game 25, and it is in Utah. Now, these are famous last words, but I consider Utah to be one of the easier states in the Union to guess. It is because we a lot of times have street signs with the name of the city or suburb on them. And then a lot of times also we get a grid system. Utah has some pretty distinct and some pretty navigable grid systems in their cities. Once you get the hang of it, a lot of times they'll tell you exactly where you are. Okay, exit 108 going west, Lone Tree. So this is one of my least favorite interstate kind of rounds, but wow, this round is very scenic. We started off in like some snow-capped mountains, and then we're in these kind of like Red Rock, Sedona, like Badland formations. So that would lead me to believe that we are on 70. If we're going west and we are going towards Lone Tree and the landscape looks like this, I think that's a pretty good guess. Let's see just like where we are on 70. There's 160. So let's go a little bit farther down here and see where we are. 108. That's exit 116. So I don't see Lone Tree anywhere or exit 108. This is making me a little bit nervous. Nah, there's 108. So we got to be like somewhere here. I don't see Lone Tree, but we got to be on 70. Going west into this exit. I mean, I would have to think we're somewhere around here. And I'm not going to 5K, but I get pretty close. On those interstate rounds, they're so hard to pinpoint. But good job, Catalyst, Chaos Queen. Catalyst is cooking on these recent state challenges. But I get the feeling that once we get into some of my states, like Michigan, Indiana, we already played Ohio, but like West Virginia, Kentucky, those are going to get harder. We get this rural round again in Utah. I'm really used to getting urban drops where you're really able to pinpoint, but of course that's not what's happening here. So, as soon as I said Utah's going to be easy, I know that was going to be a regrettable statement. No clue where this could be. We're getting just nothing. We're getting some very, high desert kind of looking landscape. Like, I might be tempted to call this southern Idaho or something. I mean, here's our grid system, but we're at 750 west and 300 north or something like that, but there's no indication of where. Wherever we are is not like on the SLC system. Delta, Utah. We're in the 801 SLC Delta Roosevelt. So where the heck is Delta? Down here, I at least north 300 west and Delta. At least okay, so we have west 300 north and then also north 300 west. That's incredibly confusing, huh? So we're at some sort of petroleum place in Delta, Utah. I'm not sure how I managed to get really lucky and get this close. Yeah. Catalyst Chaos Queen just went kind of like around SLC Airport. I think the difference there is we just didn't really have any mountains. mountains on this drop. I don't think we have the Salt Lake City mountains to the east, do we? Well, let's find out. No. No. I mean, anywhere in SLC, I mean, would have had like a similar grid system, but you would have had much more dramatic mountains to the east. That's why I was like so confused there. And I was even more confused because like I thought we were on the right road even in Delta. Okay. Tough, tough, tough rounds there. Okay, we get the 801 area code. Here I would be way more tempted to go SLC area because look at those dramatic mountains to the east. That's instantaneous Salt Lake City. Then we get this. Look at this. You might be confused and think we're in California because of those stripes, but sometimes you see those striped poles in Utah as well. Jordan River Boulevard, 487200 South. You see the beehive design on the street signs. And so Utah is the beehive state. I don't see any reason to believe that we're not on the Salt Lake City grid. 7200 South, aka 48. Could that be here? Could that be here? Maybe. And then 700 West? Does any of this check out? Kind of. Yeah, kind of. We're near a Culver's. We're near... It's hard telling exactly. With 30 seconds left, yeah, we're looking at 15 to 15 in between Salt Lake City and Vegas. So that would put us here, right? Looks like it. I think I just got lucky and got on the right grid system. Sometimes you get really confused here. And I think the most confusing thing here is the Utah 48. Like, there's no indication that that's where we actually are. Yeah, I was actually right even. Oh, R&R Barbecue. Yeah, I didn't see the Culvers. I did see R&R Barbecue. Man, Catalyst, again cooking, getting on the 7200 South even in West Jordan, Utah. That's one of your biggest Salt Lake City suburbs. Was Chaos Queen on like a different grid system? Yeah, unfortunately. Maybe you saw the Culvers and... looked like there was another one down there. But yeah, those grid systems, they repeat a bunch of different times in the Salt Lake City metro. So like every suburb, or at least most suburbs, are going to get, in some cases, their own grid system altogether. Okay, another interstate round. Do not like. However, I have a sign. I can determine we're on 80. And we are on 80 in between Salt Lake City and what does that say? Sugar? Doug Gray. Never heard of Doug Gray. Does that mean we could be going this way towards Wyoming? Maybe. But where's Doug Gray? No idea where that is. Dugway, Salt Lake City. Okay, so Dugway. Why can I never read street signs and English correctly? One would think I'd be pretty good at that by now. Freeway entrance. We're getting these like impressive rock formations there. And I wish that helped me a little bit more. One thing I'd really like to get is a mile marker. I think that might be the only thing that's going to help me because I don't see freaking Dugway. Dugway, 77. If we're going east and we're approaching mile marker 77, where does that put us? There's 62. So this would be a little bit farther down. What's our next exit here? 77. Okay. So that's interesting. Where the heck is Dugway? Why is none of this on the map? Why is Dugway not on the map? Exit 77, though, like I gotta be close, right? Yeah, okay. Catalyst probably did the same thing. Wow, Catalyst is really doing well in Utah. Chaos Queen also on 80. Great rounds, everybody. Here we are in a photosphere of some kind. Gotta love it. Oh, this is Delicate Arch. Now, wait a second. Weren't we in Delicate Arch and like right under this in another Shmoo challenge? Or am I just making that up? Was I in like someone else's US challenge? But like, I swear to God, I've literally been right here in this photosphere. And I also swear I was playing with Shmoo. It probably was on one of those like spin the wheel challenges, and it was like on the famous places or something. And I'm not really sure that this even is Delicate Arch. It's like two different arches. Is there like a double arch? Is that a thing? I'm gonna go double arch. Beautiful 5K. Man, how do I know my arches in Arches National Park? I swear we were right there, though. So good guess. Chaos Queen going right there. I managed to 5K that last final round, and wow, I didn't end up eating my words. I did really well in Utah. 24,740. Almost doesn't get any better than that, right? Including one 5K there at Double Arch. So my worst round was a 48.52 in round 2. Where was round 2? That was, in Delta. Yeah, just because I couldn't figure out that grid system. But I did figure out we were in Delta. But Catalyst, with some good guesses early on, manages to withstand the attempted comeback from Chaos Queen there in Arches National Park. Takes another one down, so GG's, both Catalyst and Chaos Queen. And I got to feel really good about my Utah performance here for sure. Didn't even really get like any of those helpful street signs. Got some rural rounds, got some difficult interstate rounds, got what amounted to a no moving round down there at Double Arch. Well, I guess I figured out the difference between Delicate and Double Arch, right? But guys from Shmoo Gaming, if you're listening, like, please confirm or deny. I swear to God we are in Arches at Delicate Arch in some past challenge. All right, so thank you. Thank you for the challenge. Thanks, everybody, for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will catch you next time in a different state.